Hello, my name's Monique Rhodes. I'm a happiness strategist and I've helped thousands of people around the world learn how to be happy. And my programs are used in over 70 colleges and universities worldwide. And I teach a lot of Fortune 500 companies. So today I want to talk to you about something that one of my students came to me and she said that she really struggled with being able to say no. She found it was a lot easier to say yes in her life. And she wondered what the importance of saying no was when she finds that most of the time, yes works pretty well for her. Sometimes it doesn't. And could I teach about this? So we live in a world that constantly praises the word yes. Say yes to opportunity. Say yes to love. Say yes to growth. And of course, there's a beautiful side to that. Saying yes opens doors, it builds relationships, it invites in possibility. But what we often forget, or maybe we're never taught, is that there's an equal and opposite power in the word no. And for many of us, no has felt dangerous. It's felt risky. Maybe it's even felt wrong. Maybe you were raised in a family where saying no was seen as disrespectful. Or you learned that to be loved, to belong, to stay safe, you had to be agreeable. You had to be cooperative, pleasant. You had to be the good girl or the good boy. And being good, of course, meant saying yes, even when your whole body was screaming no. And I've seen this so many times in my own life and in the lives of the people I work with. We say yes out of habit. We say yes out of fear. We say yes because we don't want to be difficult. We don't want to be unkind. We don't want to be abandoned. We say yes because we're afraid of the consequences of our truth. But every time we say yes, when we mean no, we abandon ourselves a little bit. So we move one small step further away from our own center, from our integrity, from our clarity, from our peace. I remember a woman I worked with some years ago. She'd spent her life caring for everyone but herself. So at work, people would come to her asking her to do extra shifts, and she would say yes because she didn't want to let anyone down. She said yes to hosting family holidays, even when she was exhausted. And she said yes to every favor, every ask, every need that crossed her path, and then one day she broke down. And when she came to me, I remember that day she was in tears and she said something like, "I don't even know who I am anymore." And she told me that she was feeling invisible in her own life. And that's what happens. When we don't protect our energy, when we don't honor our limits, when we don't know how to say no, we disappear. So saying no, it's not about becoming hard or closed or unavailable. It's about becoming honest. And it's about becoming deeply kind to yourself and the people around you. Because when your yes is no longer rooted in guilt or fear or obligation, it becomes something sacred. It becomes a gift. There's that saying by, for those of you who are Christians, the saying by Jesus Christ where he says, "Love thy neighbor as thyself." I always think this is so problematic for most people because what they think is, I need to love other people just like I love me. But most of us aren't loving us. So we end up loving our neighbor the same way that we're loving ourselves, which is not well. So it's really important that we love ourselves, that we use that as the base, that we use that as our well so that when people need things from us and ask things from us, our well is full. And we can take from a full well rather than a well that's empty. We're always giving people the dregs of ourselves. So love your neighbor as yourself. Love yourself well and then love your neighbor. And something I want you to think about is that you don't need to justify that no. You don't need to explain. You don't need to apologize. You don't need to make excuses. No can be a complete sentence. And when it comes from a place of inner steadiness, not defensiveness, it becomes a doorway into a more aligned and more authentic life. But of course, it's hard, especially in the beginning, especially if you're someone who spent a lifetime being the reliable one, the fixer, the helper, the peacemaker. It's going to feel a little bit unnatural. And you might worry that people won't understand. Some won't. Some may even push back. But here's what I know. The people who truly love you are going to adjust to the real you. And the ones who don't, well, that's important information. So learning to say no is like building a muscle. At first, it's going to be weak, but with practice, with self-compassion and courage, it becomes stronger. It becomes your boundary, your filter, your guide. And that doesn't mean you'll say no all the time, but it means that your yes becomes something that's rooted in freedom and authenticity, not in fear. That's the invitation I want to offer you. I wonder if you can hear the monkeys right now in the background make a huge amount of noise. I live in Costa Rica. It's so amazing here. This is where I said yes to myself, coming and living somewhere extraordinary. So the monkeys are making a big noise today. So the invitation I want to offer you is, can you start to notice when you're saying yes, when you actually mean no? Can you slow down enough to ask yourself, is this in alignment with who I am and who I'm becoming? And can you trust that saying no doesn't make you bad, doesn't make you cold, doesn't make you selfish? It makes you real. You're allowed to rest. You're allowed to protect your peace. You're allowed to have boundaries. And you are allowed to be the author of your own life. And the hidden power of saying no is that it clears the space for a life that's true, not one that's built on obligation, not one that's built on guilt or fear, but one that's built on clarity and love and choice. Maybe the next time you hesitate to say no, you can remember this. When you say no to what's not meant for you, you're also saying yes. Yes to yourself. And that is a very sacred thing. I hope this was helpful. If it was, like and subscribe. I'd love to teach you more about very simple ways to change your habits so you can be happier. As always, be kind, take care, go gently in the world.